Hola. I was sitting here with my dog playing Cyberpunk, killing people, being a cyber assassin or some shit. And I was watching this video, and it was about like infantilization, and it was kind of interesting because like I didn't know what the word meant, but like off of what's the other word off of context clues. I assumed it had something to do with like inf- infvisitation. I don't even know if that's a real word, but like, have to dealing with infants and, childlike mannerisms, stuff like that. I don't know the word infant in the word context clues. You know how that works. You went to third grade. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you know. Um, yeah, it just made me think like I've never really put it into perspective how bad of a I guess behavior us as humans have developed with in fertilization. And I realize it's so bad because of how long it's been around. But it, not knowing what it is off first rip, it's like, well, how can it have been along for that or been alive for that long? Or questions, any questions you might have. No question is a dumb question. It's okay to always ask questions. You'll never you'll never learn or gain new knowledge if you don't strive to figure out that new knowledge. And you can't figure out that new knowledge if you don't have the questions to figure out that new knowledge. You can't have answers without questions. Um and so like it just led me to to think about kind of just my experiences with it. And cuz I learned within that video that one, it's an act of behavior from society itself against others that we deem unfit to be normal in our society, meaning, you know, people with certain disabilities, certain mental illnesses, things that they can't help. Um, you probably often hear the word normal a lot, when addressing these types of people. You'll tend to hear people say, oh, they're not quite normal. They're different from person. They don't act like the normal person. And I, you know, I, I would hear it so much in my life, being someone with ADHD, having that kind of, I wouldn't say halt in development, but it definitely did take me a while to get where I'm at now. I haven't always been as articulative, art, I haven't always been able to articulate myself the way I am now. I haven't always been able to speak for myself the way I have been now. I've getting into that with the topic that we're talking about. Um, just being amongst a demographic like that, you're looked upon as lesser because I don't know. It's like it's not even within it is within the actions and the things that you do is why those people would deem you lesser. But it's really off the sole fact that like if I don't tell people I have ADHD off rip. I don't let people know that information. And when I tell them I have it, they get so surprised, like, oh, you don't act like a person that has ADHD. You don't do the same things that they do. And it's just like, do I, you know, does it have to be like, is there any rules stating that, it has to be this way? And I don't know, it just got me thinking just about infidelization on society as a whole and how it affects us. A good example of it in the video I was watching was how often white males involved in mass shootings will be looked upon, during the jurisdiction and the time of trial, whatever they may be going through for their crimes. It always seems that they're looked at as just teenagers, white boys who commit these crimes, who need who need fixing. They need to go to a psych ward or whatever to get their self evaluated, because that's the only exclamation as to why they would commit a crime like that. They're childlike. They can't think for themselves. They're just doing things. That's essentially what infantilization is. It's stripping stripping a person of their humanity, making it's inhumane, because you essentially you essentially not demonize, but I guess you can say demonize. You essentially demonize a certain demographic to make it seem like they can't help themselves. They can't solve problems for themselves. If you leave them on their own, they're not going to be able to fend for themselves. It's just it's making it seem like the person isn't capable of what they really are, and it's not letting them be capable of what they are. It's infidelization is the process of oppressing a certain group by taking away their what was the word that he was using in the video? Fuck. Ambiguity. Taking away their ambiguity. Their I don't know necessarily what that means. Um, from what I can probably think of without looking it up, and to my knowledge of other things, it probably ambiguity. If you were to take away someone's ambiguity using infidelity as a factor and trying to help understand what ambiguity is, I honestly would say the capability to the the capability of yourself is the best way I could put it. The being able to be capable to talk for yourself, use your words for yourself, speak for yourself, do for yourself, act for yourself, think for yourself, you know, opposed to someone speaking for you, answering all your questions, taking down all information that's given to you because they feel as you can't do that. We can't leave this in your hands for I fear as that this important information that we need might get lost, or I can't trust you at this certain thing because I don't know what you're gonna do with it. I fear as you might do what a kid would do. It's just it's stuff like that. And I've going back to my whole thing about it, simply just thinking about it, because this whole when I do these, it's not necessarily any real topic matter. It's just stuff to talk about. It's just I just like talking about things at times. So it's just one of those things to talk about. And it's like, I never realized how prominent it was in my life being someone with ADHD until I watched that video. Because like watching that video really helped me understand what that more looks like. And with that being said, I can only imagine that there's other people in the world who don't necessarily know what infidelity looks like, and are they're subject to its treatment every day without probably even knowing it. And it's like it kind of leads into one of those things I was saying on my story, with like personal growth and whatnot. And if you constantly let people infidelize infi, you know infidelize you. I don't even know if that's a real word, but or the correct way of saying that word, but I'm going to anyway. But if you essentially let people do that, you'll never truly find yourself. You'll never truly be able to find your own voice. You'll never be confident in the things that you do. You'll never you'll never find yourself because of everyone oppressing your ambiguity to do so. So it's like a lot of times coming up, I would you know face value some of the worst things. I just simply just get called retarded, stupid things like that. of that nature, simply because, having ADHD coming up, I wouldn't necessarily say I was slow. It just, uh, processing information took a little longer to me. Certain things I had to think about more so that I didn't make mistakes, so that I wouldn't move too fast. Certain things like that. People take those, of what they see, and they take their initial societal biases that they're born into from their environment and stuff, and they kind of they put that on other people. And infidelization is so acceptable in society today, to the point where it doesn't even seem like it's a bad thing. Like, there's nothing, like, it doesn't seem like there's no wrong happening. But it's been around forever. It's it's been used as a means to try and put down other people for control. And I want to come in here and talk about that, because I just want you as a person to know, don't let don't let that type of control you. I want to bring light to these things, because I want people to be aware of them. I want people to grow and be aware of these things, so they can know and learn off of them. You know, it's one of them. I don't know. It's just one of them things. It's one of them things. But yeah, that's all I wanted to come in here and talk about, because I thought it was pretty interesting. Like, I didn't know what it was, like, at all. I seen the video, and I was just it didn't even struck me as like, oh, I don't even know what this is, I'm not gonna bother with it. Nor did it strike me as oh, this is just an interesting video to look at it. I genuinely didn't know what infidelity was. And again, by societal standards and norms, you could look at that and be like, oh, how'd you not know what infidelity was? Or not infidelity, not infidelity, infidelization, or whatever the fuck that shit called. I forgot the word already, saying it too much. But yeah, you could easily go, well, as an adult, you should know that, something like that. Just it's comments and stuff like that. It's meant to put you in a position to make you feel like you're not capable. And people need to hear that they are capable, when there's so many of these behaviors, these oppressive behaviors, and these backwards moving into human rights things that most people want to do. The fascist community wants to move into, things like that. They don't understand. Like, it's not that they don't understand, but what tends to happen is these things are so deep rooted in society that they kind of exist on a to make it like understandable. It's essentially like, instead of telling someone, hey, you're pretty stupid, your actions make them look like they're stupid. So rather than saying it out loud for them to know, these kinds of behaviors are more so done non-verbally. They're done in the small everyday things that build up. And people catch on to those everyday things. They look at these things and okay, he did that. That must be like a normal thing to do. So I'm going to start doing that. Then that one person starts doing that. And that other person sees both of them doing it and thought, oh, I see both of them doing that. Maybe I should be doing that. And next thing you know, we have a snowball effect of whatever the effect is snowballing. And so that leads to essentially, these grand behaviors of oppressiveness and just downright inhumane ways of dealing with people, of addressing people. It takes that and it makes it normal. It makes it the same kind of normal that we're trying to resist. That's the kind of normal they want to make normal, not the normal that comes out of being born. Because really, no matter what type of, uh, mental illness or deformity or just, unfortunate thing that you had to come out with, that you had no control over, That is normal. You know, things in nature aren't meant to be perfect. They're not meant to all be one way. Things adapted differently for a reason. It adapted differently to its circumstances. No one can tell you what is better to do for you in your life besides you. No one can tell you what's best for you to eat. When the best times it is for you to go to the bathroom, the best ways for you to heal or get over things. No one can tell you those types of things but you. So why would you let someone tell you you're not capable of anything? Or, you can't do that because of the way you do things. The way you do stuff is childlike. You watch SpongeBob, so that must mean you have a childlike brain. So you aren't capable of things to my degree, because I'm an adult and you're not. Or rather, I act like an adult and you don't. So that deems you less of an adult than I do, when that's not the case. Everything that makes you comes from your experiences, and you're the only one that knows those experiences. So if it's anything, I can't, I'm not the best at giving advice, but the one thing that I can say is, don't ask people for advice. I feel like most people get lost and don't know what to do with themselves, so they go to other people in search of who they are. But like, you can't find who you are if you're not looking yourself. Other people can't look for who you are for you, because they are not you. They don't live in your body. They don't exist in your brain. They don't function the way you do on a daily basis. They don't wake up in your bed. They don't work your jobs. They don't talk to your family. They don't do none of the things that you do. So only you are capable of what you can do in your life. And you'll only be the only one capable of what you can do in your life. You are your only roadblock, and you are your only successor. I was probably spitting a whole bunch of nothing, but that's my TED Talk about, the dangers of infidelization, and how, if not recognized and left unchecked, can grow into more dangerous, more dangerous behaviors, like outlets for, maybe worse things to go on. Just stuff like that. But, with that being said, sayonara. I don't really got much to say.